Taoiseach, I'd like to ask you to condemn in the strongest possible terms the massacre, the slaughter of civilians at the Nuseirat refugee camp in Gaza, under the guise of rescuing hostages, 4 of whom were rescued, but another 3 were killed. Almost 300 people were killed. It seems very, very clear that war crimes were committed here, the war crime of perfidy, of hiding in a supposedly humanitarian truck, which obviously is a war crime precisely because it places other humanitarian aid workers in danger, because then the thought is, okay, this could actually be forces from an opposing side. The UN Special Rapporteur of the occupied Palestinian territories said Israeli forces were, quote, perfidiously hiding in an air truck, saying that this is humanitarian camouflage at another level. It appears that US forces were directly involved, with the IDF reporting that the US hostage cell played a decisive role in freeing the hostages, and it appears at least likely that this port, supposedly built to bring humanitarian aid to the people of Gaza, was used in some way in this massacre. It needs to be condemned in the strongest possible terms.
In relation to Deputy Murphy, yes, I condemn in the strongest possible terms, as I think any right-thinking person might. I want to see all the hostages released. I want to see them released unconditionally. I presume everyone in this House does. I think everyone in this House does. Everybody wants to see the hostages released unconditionally. But the constant, in my view, targeting of civilians, including children, is utterly horrific. And there does have to be accountability for any potential war crimes that have been committed. Now, the structures to do that aren't for me on the floor of the Dáil to decide who has and hasn't committed a war crime, but the structures are clear, and they're there through the ICJ, and Ireland supports fully the work of the International Court. But the most important thing to happen now has to be a cessation of the violence. It has to be an immediate ceasefire, unhindered and unimpeded access to humanitarian aid, and the release unconditionally of all the hostages. I met the Palestinian, or soon-to-be Palestinian, ambassador last week. First time a Palestinian ambassador had been in the Taoiseach's office. Again, a state of recognition, what recognition means. And she outlined to me in the most horrifying terms the scale of the humanitarian catastrophe. And I don't think the world fully comprehends even yet, despite what we see on our TV screens, how horrific the humanitarian situation is.